The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
Well, over the weekend on Christmas Eve, Britain and the European Union finalized their divorce. They agreed on the terms of a trade deal that's supposed to take effect after January 1st. It has yet to be approved by the British and EU parliaments, but the odds look pretty good there. Members of Parliament will vote on the deal on December 30th. And we've had a lot of celebrations across Europe and the United Kingdom, almost viewing this development as a kind of Christmas present. They had been tired of this Brexit saga, which had been going on for 4.5 years. And this deal is a chance to move on and start dealing with other problems. Now, this deal averts Britain crashing out on December 31st, and we're going to get into all the details here. But so far, both sides have come out and expressed their friendship and partnership with one another. Von der Leyen and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, that's who I'm referring to. Talking about Britain and the EU always being friends with one another, allies, supporters, and not forgetting that as well. Looking at what the British press has been saying, they said Happy Brexmas. And the French press is also hailing the stamina of the negotiators for having done this for so long. 4 years of drama dragged out for so long, and I can't believe it's over. Now we have a deal, and certainly a big thing as well, a big deal for Boris Johnson himself. So, yeah, let's get into now.
True. But despite all of that, there were so many issues that were not nailed down by this agreement that was sealed on Christmas Eve. And among those issues are financial services, because with the future rules still to be established, a government source admitted that despite the sector employing more than 1 million people, paying more than 75 billion pounds in tax. So there still stands the financial services problem there. Also, professional qualifications and services jobs, with nothing agreed on their recognition in the EU, despite the UK enjoying a huge surplus in such exports. Also, no agreement to allow the government to return asylum seekers to the EU countries with the expiry of the Dublin regulation, despite Priti Patel's vow that it would be easier after Brexit. Another issue, no data sharing deal for the UK chemicals industry, landing it with a £1 billion bill to build its own database of approved products, with the level of cooperation with the EU undecided. Last but not least, the food industry protested at the absence of an equivalence agreement, which left New Zealand with a closer deal requiring fewer checks and less paperwork. So, all of this led to a lawyer and leading Brexit commentator, David Alan Green, to point out, saying dozens and dozens of UK-EU talking shops. He's saying, welcome to the future negotiations without end, basically.
Yep, British exporters will face a number of regulatory hurdles that will make it more costly and burdensome to do business in Europe. That is one of the analysis that is out there. Cars will face special restrictions. Gasoline and diesel vehicles will need to be at least made with 55% local content to escape those tariffs. So that's one thing. But the big thing that they had sort of a disagreement with, especially the UK, was the use of its waters for fishing. And I'm looking at this document that has been published. It says they will be noting that cooperation and trade between the parties in these areas should be based on fair competition in energy markets and non-discriminatory access to networks. The parties desiring to promote the peaceful use of waters adjacent to their coasts and the optimum and equitable utilization of the marine living resources in those waters, including the continued sustainable management of shared stocks. That's a very important aspect there. What we do know is that there's a 5.5-year window that Boris Johnson has put forward, which is going to be under review after that time.
Yeah, exactly. And to elaborate on that, while the UK, according to the deal, becomes an independent coastal state and gets to decide who accesses its waters, there's that transition period you noted. And in the meantime, EU boats will still be able to fish in UK waters for some years to come at least. Also, after the transition period, the UK and the EU will regularly negotiate access on each other's waters. So still up in the air on that. As far as the judiciary, which was another sticking point in the Brexit negotiations, according to the deal, the UK will no longer be bound by judgments made by European Court of Justice. This is according to a statement by Prime Minister Boris Johnson as well. As far as security is concerned, the UK is no longer going to have access to that key database made by the EU, but still should be able to make requests for access on that. There's droves of analysis out there on whether or not the UK is better off with this deal, but the fact that they divorced themselves from the EU in and of itself is seen widely by analysts as a negative when compared to staying in the EU. So now that they've finalized this deal, the UK's economy, which is currently battered, is set to face a number of major challenges after it leaves the EU for good, including unfettered or the loss of access to the European Union as far as trade is concerned. The deal means that exporters who have been spared the pain of having costly tariffs slapped on their goods, but costs might rise rapidly if new customs checks delay goods at the border and affect supply chains. So there certainly will be a fallout from leaving the EU in and of itself. There's also the idea of worker shortages. Britain has a new immigration system that takes place in January, designed to reduce the number of unskilled workers coming to the UK. But the number of EU workers coming to the UK, that's going to be affected, and employers are worried about labor shortages, especially now that the UK has left the EU. But something to note is that immigration from non-EU countries has been on the rise and might counteract the loss of talent from the EU itself.
Yep, of course, that's going to be a massive thing, and it was a topic of contention as well. Now, looking at the travel restrictions, the UK and EU have agreed that short-term business visitors won't need to hold work permits or undergo economic needs tests. Managers and specialists will be allowed to stay here for up to 3 years and trainees for up to a year. People visiting to set up businesses will be permitted to remain for as long as 90 days in any 6-month period, according to the deal. So it is a very similar work permit system that we have here in the United Arab Emirates, 2 to 3 years visa services. Doctors, nurses, dentists, pharmacists, engineers or architects must have their qualifications recognised in each member state they wish to practice in. So this is a loss for the UK because a lot of these doctors had comprehensive coverage over the EU region as a whole. So lots of changes to get acquainted with, lots of changes to get used to, but at least now we do have a deal and it's not a hard Brexit that a lot of people had feared earlier, and it did come at the 11th hour. What's going to come up next here on the Majlis is another discussion, international discussion, as millions of Americans are at risk of losing their benefits. What's happening? All of this will be discussed right here after the musical entertainment here on Pulse 95. Stay tuned. This is the Morning Majlis.
Join the conversation with the Morning Majlis. Pulse 95.
Fear is emerging in the United States of America because millions of Americans are set to lose their unemployment coverage after Saturday's announcement, as President Trump resisted signing the sweeping $900 billion aid package until lawmakers more than tripled the size of relief checks, putting the fate of the measure in limbo. Now, Trump's resistance to signing this bill risks leaving millions of unemployed Americans without crucial benefits and jeopardizes other critical assistance for businesses and families set to lapse at the end of the year, and also raises the possibility of a government shutdown on Tuesday. So the president basically blindsided lawmakers last week when he described this bill as a disgrace, a relief comprised that overwhelmingly passed both chambers and was also negotiated by his own Treasury Secretary. But he also hinted that he might veto the measure unless lawmakers raise the bill's $600 direct payment checks to $2,000. And Trump, who was largely absent from negotiations over the compromise, basically doubled down on that criticism on Saturday while offering little clarification on his plan. And a White House spokesperson, basically, they declined to indicate what the president intended to do further on.
Yeah, and policy experts and lawmakers spoke on the consequences of a delay in the passing of this bill, particularly at a time where the pandemic is ravaging the country and the economic recovery is struggling amid those conditions. They're warning that any resolution at this point may be too late for families who've lost their only lifeline, protecting them from the brunt of this pandemic's toll. A senior policy analyst for the National Employment Law Project said foreclosures, hunger, and homelessness are risks here as well. Now, this delay is set to have a guaranteed lapse in employment benefits because states will not be allowed to restart benefits until the first week of January. It has also reduced the scope for extension and expansions in the relief bill because they're scheduled to end in mid-March. And the unsigned bill, it's around 5,593 pages, is now waiting at the Mar-a-Lago, the Florida estate where Trump has been spending the holidays. And in addition to providing those direct payments of $600, the legislation would allocate billions of dollars for the distribution of vaccines and to support small businesses, schools, hospitals, and airlines as well. But yes, Trump has been vocal about why he's rejected this bipartisan bill. He wants to unilaterally increase the direct payment to individuals from $600 to $2,000. And the $600 figure was criticized across the board by citizens from the country who said it was an absurdly low amount for what they had been going through. So there's that.
Of course, I think that those sentiments would be there. And according to the tweets by the US president, he said that I simply want to get our great people $2,000 rather than the measly $600 that is now in the bill. It's invited us a reaction from Joe Biden, who wants the president to act immediately. And he said in a statement, this abdication of responsibility has devastating consequences. The bill is critical. It needs to be signed into a law now. The president-elect is now scheduled to meet with his transition advisors today as they'll be discussing this in greater detail. Americans are living through an unprecedented holiday season because of this pandemic that has killed nearly 330,000 people in the country alone, with the daily death toll now expected to be above 3,000. This is the highest since the pandemic began, so it certainly is a crucial time.
Yeah, indeed. And lawmakers are set to return to Washington to try and override Trump's veto of the defense policy legislation. The House of Representatives will also vote on a bill to increase the amount of checks to $2,000. And according to analysts, the bill will likely pass the House of Representatives, but whether or not it will get a pass in the Senate, where it would face opposition from the Republican Party, is a question there. But we'll certainly keep an eye on this story.
It certainly will be. We'll be right back right after the news headlines. Stay with us. This is the Morning Majlis, only on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95. Welcome back on the program. A lot of you might not be too surprised with the story that we're talking about. It's the analysis. It's the prediction, and they say that, and it's according to the Center for Economics and Business Research, China will overtake the US to become the world's biggest economy in 2028, 5 years earlier than previously anticipated. And I, in fact, thought otherwise. I thought China was already the strongest economy, or fast approaching that milestone, but apparently it's going to be in 2028.
Yes, indeed. And according to this report, which assesses forecasts in the medium term, they're looking at a world amidst a coronavirus disaster and which countries are set to emerge, and had covered a number of scenarios, but pegged China as the country to overtake the United States as the world's biggest economy. And for some time now, an overarching theme of global economics has been amid this soft power struggle between the United States and China. But now that we've had the COVID-19 pandemic and a corresponding economic fallout across the world, that has tipped this rivalry in China's favor. And the report attributes it to China's, quote, skillful management of the pandemic with its strict early lockdown and the fact that the West had undergone major hits to its long-term growth means that China is set for an average economic growth of 5.7% per year from 2021 to 2025, while the United States was likely to have a strong post-pandemic rebound in 2021. Its growth is going to be slowing to 1.9% a year between 2022 and 2024, and then 1.6% after that. Japan would remain the world's third biggest economy in dollar terms until the early 2030s, where the report says it would be overtaken by India, pushing Germany down from fourth to fifth. The UK, currently the fifth biggest economy by this, or according to this report, would slip to sixth place from 2024. So we're also seeing India emerge as a major economic powerhouse.
Absolutely. Italy as well. Italy's economy is expected to contract by 10.6% this year, with growth picking up to 5.2% next year. Italy actually was the first Western country to be hit by this pandemic in March and introduced stimulus measures worth over 100 billion euros. That's about $121 billion to support their economy. Spain, which has the 9th highest number of coronavirus infections, is not expected to return to pre-pandemic levels of output until the year of 2024, according to this report. Saudi Arabia, the Arab world's largest economy, is expected to grow at an average rate of 2.9% from the years 2021 until 2025 and 2.3% from 2026 until 2035, while the UAE's economy will grow 2.3% a year over the next 15 years to come. As for Egypt, which is the Arab world's third largest economy, it will grow 4.8% a year between the years 2021 until 2025. Also, this report said that the COVID-19's impact on the global economy was likely to show up in higher inflation, not slower growth.
Yep, of course. And a very alarming figure here as well is that China did not enter any form of recession in the year 2020. A lot of countries have had a very horrible year and have been complaining and hoping for a better year. China's had an awful start to 2020 because COVID-19 emerged in December. And at that time of the year, we remember when it was emerging of a new epidemic. It was only called an epidemic back then. There was a lot of talk that it's being underplayed, and they said, no, don't worry, it's going to be handled, nothing to be too alarmed about. And little did we know that in a few months' time it's going to impact the entire globe. Comparatively, if you look at the figures, as of Saturday, the number of infections in China reached 86,933 with 4,634 deaths. Contrast to the United States, where we have 18 million cases, 330,000 deaths. And worldwide, we've seen 1.76 million deaths. So it really is alarming how the world was impacted by it. But now China at the moment expecting to grow at an average of 5.7% from 2021 to 2025. One one side of the argument would say we should learn from them in terms of how they managed to curb the COVID-19. The other side of the argument says maybe they're not reporting as much. So it's an open-ended debate at the moment.
But what's really intriguing about this is that living standards in China will remain much lower than in the U.S. and Western European countries, regardless of this of them overtaking the U.S. As the biggest economy.
Yeah, and
So it's
according to the report, China is set to enter high-income territory in 2023. They said a figure of $28,000 per capita is set to be the income in 2035 as well. And meanwhile, India's economic scale would not catch up to Japan until the year 2035 because Japan is still growing at a fast rate at the moment and India is suffering fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yep, of course, and that is the scenario at the moment. So what we'll do now is we'll take a bit of a short break. We'll come back right after some musical entertainment. And just after 8:30, we're going to be playing a dedicated quiz. We'll be playing annoying questions that you think is the right answer or is an easy answer, but we'll leave you scratching. I've got some very intense questions lined up for you guys, so stay tuned to Pulse 95 right after 8:30. Shout out to lots of people who've been texting in. What is the most common type of a bird across the globe? Vartika texted this morning with the correct answer. Lots of other people got it wrong. They used my option of a pigeon. Well, what is
Dove, maybe?
Oh, yeah, could
Dove?
be, yeah. The soap, never know.
The soap.
What is the most common type of a bird across the world? Text us.
It's good soap, by the way.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored, but
no,
yes.
No, we're not. So 4215. We'll be right back after some musical entertainment. This is The Morning Majlis, only on Pulse 95.
This is the Matchless Quiz.
This is the Majlis Quiz.
Pulse 95.
Because it's the holiday season, we just wanted to ease things here on the Morning
Let's have
Majlis.
fun.
Yeah. Just take it easy, really. Look, Majlis Quiz, we've had a lot of interest. A lot of people have been texting in usually whenever we're giving prizes away, which is great. But when there's no prizes for now, we have what I would like to call is easy route or Wasta route. If you text during these times when there's no gifts and presents, I'll give you VIP access to the draw when we do have prizes. So when we do have prizes, there's loads of texts. So we lose out. We see so many numbers, right? But if you text now, I remember these numbers and we'll put them in the VIP category. And this elite category will always be at the top. So we will put you there. So shout out to another listener of the show, Mr. Abid Raza. He's in the elite category most
He's
of the time.
definitely in the VIP category. Always and forever will be.
Yeah, but
Shout out to you. Good morning, Abid Raza.
Morning to all our listeners.
To all the listeners out there.
Okay, our biggest question of the day this morning was what is the most common what is the most common type of bird across the globe? And Ahmed Dawood rightly pointed out, and so did just a few of you pointed out, saying it is domestic chicken. Well done. My question to you now,
all right,
is we guys, all of us went out this weekend?
Yes.
Had a nice dinner?
Yeah.
What is the most common type of sauce that people use with their French fries?
Ketchup.
I have a feeling there's a twist.
No, this is not the question. I'm getting to the question.
Okay. All right, sorry.
So let's say
transitioning into the
let's say ketchup.
All right.
What is the most popular brand of ketchup?
Heinz.
Heinz, yeah.
In which year were they founded? They always write...
Yeah.
1871.
Oh, is it? That
Wait,
is the
hold
question. No, this is the question. This is the question. In which year?
1869.
Well done.
Oh, close.
Well done. Yeah, it is. In what year was Heinz founded? There's a year that they always put on their brand, and I keep on forgetting it. If someone asks me this question, I'm like, I saw that date. But I don't know.
I felt like I saw it imprinted, like a photo of 1871, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
For a second.
Well, now the question of the hour, let's say, is baby lions are called what?
Cubs.
Cubs.
Okay.
My question for all of you out there is, what is a baby rabbit called?
Tough one.
What is a baby
rabbit?
Yeah.
That's tough.
We're talking because we just talked
Rap.
about we just talked about kidulting, right? We talked about watching cartoons. Bugs Bunny, very popular Warner Brothers character. What is a baby rabbit called? Text us on 4215 if you know the answer, and if you're one of those science or scientific, let's say, aficionados and science geeks, you will be definitely know the answer. Text us on 4215. What's a baby rabbit called? So this is for the listeners. Just for us lot here, do you know the famous chocolate Ferrero Rocher?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
What's the nut inside it?
I love that chocolate. I should know this. Hazelnut? No. Is it? I don't know.
What nut is inside Ferrero Rocher?
Oh my God.
People eat these chocolates without realizing.
We don't know what
inside.
we're eating.
We don't
Like
know what
my
we're
favorite
eating.
chocolate is Lion Bar. Please sponsor me, no problem. But they have a wafer inside. Ferrero Rocher. What nut is inside it?
I have no idea.
No idea?
No.
Well, I think Ahmed
I'm
got
thinking
it.
of.
Oh, I did?
Ahmed got it right this time, man.
Hazelnuts?
Yeah, it is hazelnut.
Okay.
Because I thought of the taste. It's hazelnut.
Yeah.
Well, text us on 4215. We'd like to give you the opportunity to join the elite of the elite VIP list of texters. What is a baby rabbit called? If you know the answer, text us on 4215. We'll be right back after a bit of a short
Rabby.
Rabby?
Rabby.
Baby
That's
rabbit.
adorable.
Bunny rabbit. No, you never know. Bugs Bunny it is for us. What's a baby rabbit called? If you know the answer, text us on 4215. Let's throw in another question in the mix, because Arania is one of those science aficionados, given her wonderful career in pharmaceutical industry. Typically, what is the strongest muscle in the human body?
Oh. Strongest muscle.
Rania just nodded as if she knows.
I know what's up.
What is the answer?
I'm not going to say the answer.
You know the answer.
I'm not going to say the answer.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay, let's leave another question for the audience then. What is the strongest muscle in a human body? You have an option to join elite category gold. If you know the answer, what's a baby rabbit called? We give you elite category platinum. How about that?
Interesting.
How about that? Well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. Lots to get through this morning. What is the strongest muscle in a human body, if you know the answer, as well as what is a baby rabbit called? We'll be right back here on the Morning Majlis.
Pulse 95.
The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. And we're talking about these high-tech radars they've activated in Abu Dhabi. And the Abu Dhabi police have issued a reminder that these radars are out there to catch you using your phone or failing to wear your seatbelt. They are set to go live on January. And Abu Dhabi's police released a video to raise awareness about this on their Instagram, stating how this technology works and how it is set to be introduced. Essentially, there will be a network of radars deployed in the Emirate to automatically detect drivers who violate the rules. These radars use artificial intelligence and cameras to detect whether motorists have been using their phones or did not wear their seatbelt in the car. Now, upon violating these rules, motorists would receive a text message detailing this infringement.
Well, under the current laws, motorists caught using their mobile phones while driving face fines of at least 800 dirhams and can receive 4 black points on their license. But yeah, going back to this initiative, it's a joint operation between Abu Dhabi Police and Abu Dhabi Digital Authority, and it's known as VAST. stands for Vehicular Attention and Safety Tracker, and it aims to preserve, obviously, the safety of drivers, passengers, and other road users. And let's not forget, police have repeatedly reminded pedestrians and motorists to follow those rules on the road, and they regularly post pictures of people jaywalking or driving recklessly, and videos. We've seen so many of them, especially in Abu Dhabi for some reason, of many incidents happening and accidents happening because of people not abiding by the law.
Yep, of course. And it's going to come into effect on January the 1st, according to the announcement by the Abu Dhabi police. And I've seen it work, because when I was in Abu Dhabi the other weekend, I was driving past and a lot of people were in the speed limits. And then I saw loads of flashes and I thought, okay, might be one of those testing or calculating the traffic on the road. But no, it was a speed camera, and speed camera was flashing on people for some reason, and I assumed it might have been because of the mobile phones as well, and then I was worried, saying, is this a new thing in Abu Dhabi? Is it in place? But now we've got some more clarification that this system is going to come into effect, and it is going to be introduced, has been introduced for the time being, but it will be coming in as a law and as a punishable or a penalty after January. Well, Morning Majlis is now going to be heading off. We shall be back bright and early tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you would like to check out the discussions we had on today's show and on previous shows as well, we have podcasts uploaded daily on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcast. We also upload highlights on our YouTube channel at Pulse 95 Radio, so make sure you subscribe.
Yes, and we also actually had a couple of Majlis quizzes today.
Yes, we did. And our question of the day was, what's a baby rabbit called? As well as, what is the strongest muscle in a human body? So, Rania, if you were to reveal the answer.
So, what is the
strongest muscle in a
strongest
human body?
muscle? The masseter muscle, the jaw. And what do we have other than that?
What is a baby rabbit called?
Is it a kit?
It is a kit.
A kit, K-I-T, right?
Yes.
For some reason, I thought it was a doe.
A doe?
Yeah.
I think I've read that somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe they're different names, regional variants.
Maybe, it might be.
What is the largest organ in the body?
Your skin?
Lungs.
Right.
Hey, there we go. What's up?
I thought that was the lungs.
No.
Oh, no. Skin.
It's the skin. What is the smallest organ in the body? Let's
Brain.
do one before we go.
My brain is the smallest.
Oh, no.
The pineal gland. It actually produces melatonin, the sleep regulator hormone.
Oh.
But one interesting thing is, how many organs do we have in our body? Not the vital ones, total organs.
I wouldn't even know.
25.
78.
78 organs.
That's a lot of organs.
Five of them are vital.
The vital organs.
Which are the vital organs?
Your heart.
The heart is one, yeah.
Lungs.
Number 2,
Your
yeah.
brain.
3, that's right.
Your skin.
No.
Oh, it's not vital?
No. These 5, if one of them stops
Liver.
working for a couple of a couple of seconds, we die.
Okay.
Pancreas.
No, liver, the kidneys, lungs,
Brain.
heart, and brain. 5.
There we go.
Vital
Yeah.
organs. Well, there we go. Medical. It's a medical majlis of the morning for sure. We will be right back again tomorrow morning, bright and early, and we'll continue the discussions from there on. Thank you for tuning in this morning, and do text us on 4215.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.